Do you like a challenge? Good, because today we're going through the most difficult, frustrating, and borderline impossible challenges you can try in Project Zomboid. Let's start strong with the Broken and Burnt Body mod coupled with Feverish Fellow. This is a new take on the Worst Start challenge, but with a more lethal twist. The house doesn't have to be on fire for it to be an absolute nightmare. So imagine you start out with your entire body fractured and burnt to a crisp because right before the apocalypse, you fell down the stairs and into an oven. Every single bone in your body is splintered and you're completely covered in bandages like a mummy. To top it all off, you have a nasty incurable cold that will never go away. So basically, you're in complete agony all of the time, you can barely swing a weapon, and your movement speed is, at best, a slow hobble. Oh, and the cold you have is always at peak intensity, so you're coughing every 3 seconds to let all the zombies know exactly where you are. For maximum effect, I would suggest selecting only the 2 negative traits and then spawning somewhere in Louisville. I tried these out all together and honestly, it was actually a lot of fun. Another mod to torture your character with is the Dead Rat Challenge. This is a simple mod, a very simple mod in fact, but it will ruin your day if you install it. The Dead Rat Challenge will hide every single item in the game behind the image of a dead rat. All food will appear as a dead rat, all clothing will appear as a dead rat, weapons, you get the idea. The only way to figure out what you're looking at is to see what interactions you can do to it, so things like take pills or wear or make newspaper hat can help you make sense of things. Tooltips will also come to the rescue with additional information, but they're surprisingly rare. The worst part is, even if you do find something useful, you'll immediately lose it again in a sea of dead rat that is your inventory as soon as you pick it up. When I tried this, do you know how long it took me to find a weapon? Like 20 minutes of equipping every single thing I found, and when I eventually got one, it was a pencil. In this next scenario, it's not the zombies you need to worry about, it's what lurks in the darkness. And there's only darkness. Fatal Night and the Long Night create a world where you're hunted from the shadows in a place where the sun never shines. This unseen horror will reach out and speak to you anytime you step away from a light source, and if you stay away long enough, it'll pull you into the abyss. There's no indicator for how far gone you are aside from your gut feeling. The longer you are in the darkness, the more time you need to spend away from it, so flicking your flashlight isn't gonna help. The good news is, almost any light source will work. All electrical lighting indoors, car headlights, street lights, even bright TV lights will keep you safe. If you get desperate, fires are also a very bright light source. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention the zombies. They're still around and completely unaffected by any of this. They'll come and hunt you down as usual since the permanent darkness only seems to apply to you. This scenario has a really nice horror vibe with the pitch black areas and the spooky sound effects, but there's no way this is viable for long-term survival, especially when the power goes out. The next nightmare scenario doesn't even require a mod, because the Good Citizen Challenge is enough to drive the most patient person completely insane. Think you could take on Project Zomboid with no looting? I don't, but the premise here is simple. You're not allowed to commit any crimes, which doesn't sound so bad until you realize how much of a criminal you normally are in Project Zomboid. You'll be allowed to search your starter house since we can assume it belongs to your character, but from then on, no more looting. You'll need to follow the rules of civilized society in order to get by. Want to read a book? You'll need to go to the local library and then return it after you're finished. Want to refuel your car? Find some money first and leave it on the counter at the gas station. You won't be able to break into houses or stores to find items, but anything you find on the street is fair game. No fighting with the zombies either. A good citizen would never attack someone on the street, so this would need to be a 100% pacifist run as well. If you're not sure if you're allowed to do something, just imagine that there's a cop watching you. Good luck, and I hope you like foraging. The next hellish challenge will pit you against Bloodhound Zombies, and this scenario buffs them to the extreme. Not only will they gain better sight, hearing, and memory through sandbox settings, they'll also develop a keen sense of smell, allowing them to detect you through breath, blood, and sweat. Say goodbye to the outdoors because it now belongs to the zombies, and you will actively be hunted anytime you're out in the open. To remain undetected, you'll need to move through buildings quickly, or wait for the cover of rain or snow to make your move. There are some additional mechanics you can use to mask your scent, but I'll leave those for you to discover on your own. Also, for a bit of added fun, the modder included a flatulence system just to make it that much harder for you to keep your characters safe. This setup is the definition of things going downhill fast because the game starts out normally and then all hell breaks loose as soon as you step outside. The next challenge will have you cowering behind locked doors because night sprinters with a hive mind will tear you to shreds if they find you. This scenario only requires some custom sandbox tweaks and one mod. The idea here is that during the day, the world is relatively safe. The zombies shamble around slowly. They have slightly higher than average cognition, being able to open doors and windows, but they're easy enough to fight off, even in large groups. But as soon as night rolls around, they turn into sprinting killer machines that are able to communicate telepathically to all the other zombies in the area. They have lightning-fast reflexes, and once one sees you, they will all swarm the building, searching for you in seconds. Their pin-drop hearing and the ability to open doors means that it's not so easy to hide, and if they figure out where you are, they'll take the doors off its hinges without hesitation, even if you do lock them. So remember, when night rolls around, make sure to barricade the windows, lock the doors, and have a spare pair of pants handy. And lastly, there's no chance you'll survive the CDDA plus Here They Come zombie horde event. Just when you thought things couldn't get much worse, we have Special Infected coming at you in waves. This is a 7-day style horde event, but with more dangerous and deadly zombies. The CDDA mod introduces 20 new zombie variants into the world. Crazy things like electric zombies that lock you in place, zombies that explode when you touch them, and master zombies that transform regular zombies into deadly variants just by being nearby. Now imagine a massive horde of these coming at you and they know exactly where you are. Also, there's sprinters, all kinds. Can't forget those. I honestly don't know how you would go about surviving this. If you can think of a good strategy, let me know in the comments because I don't think it can be done. As a side note, the CDDA mod also has a bunch of new professions you can try, like ballroom dancer and crackhead. I don't think it'll help, but it's there if you want it. Bonus: Bitten plus Sombrex. Do you like living on the edge? Great, because this mod combination is guaranteed to get you killed, since you start out already infected. There's nothing in this world that will cure you of the zombie virus, but you can buy yourself some time with Zombrex. A miracle of sorts, it temporarily halts the infection progress until it runs out. Your single mission during this playthrough is to stay on top of your zombification, because if you let that icon get too red, you'll find yourself zombified pretty quickly. While this is not deadly immediately, you will eventually run out of vials, so there's no real way to survive this in the long run. What's the hardest challenge you've ever tried? Let me know in the comments below and subscribe to the channel for more survival game content. Thanks for watching.